fuck.
Anything.
Wow, that got really close to my balls, dude. I was not ready for that. I was also distracted because I just realized that Loki got an episode today.
Oh
Forgot
yeah.
about it.
Are you caught up with
Yeah,
it?
except for today's.
Yeah. I was up at 3 a.m. and I was like getting ready to watch it and fell asleep. Half drunk. Watching Lucifer instead.
I mean, it's just one mischievous god to another.
Facts. Wow, Jesus, that's so true. So true.
That's what I'm here for.
Facts.
Yeah.
Nothing but facts.
Truth.
Truth. Now that we're in an era of fake news, or at least hopefully out of the era of fake news.
Trump's still alive, / not in prison.
This is also true.
Speaking of depression, how was your last year?
I wasn't. Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's we man. When was our last take on this?
On what?
Or I guess our last episode.
Like,
It was February. It was
I was gonna
mid-February
say,
that we
it
were
would
supposed
have to be like
Yeah, it was
around
mid-February.
the Chiefs Super Bowl.
Jesus, that's true. Because it was mid-February, right after my abuela passed, and then we got really busy for a second, and then it just like everything deteriorated, and everything just got worse and worse.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what's this weird thing? Oh, looks like we may have to be locked down for a little bit there.
Yeah.
That little bit there,
Turn-
months and months.
Turned to a year. Fucking Rudy Gobert.
What a fucking idiot he must feel like.
God damn,
I
man.
totally forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, I got coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like, rubbing everyone's microphone.
Coughing on the mics and shit.
And then, like, realizing he was, like, the
he was like
catalyst in the NBA to be like,
well, he was
no,
like
we're ending the season.
well, he
Fuck
was the
this.
catalyst for the NBA, but realistically, the whole nation, because it was like he got it.
Well, that was, like, the biggest platform of, like, a person who had it probably at that point, because before then, it's just, 18 people in New York City this week came down.
Yeah. And then fucking one thing to another, NBA
French
shut
idiots
down.
fucking around.
The French. Everyone made this joke before, probably. Fuck the French. Yeah, because I forgot what we were talking about, but the French really like loved Joker or some shit, and I was like, fuck the French.
Like the movie or
The movie.
Jokic?
What? Oh, wow. Okay,
You were talking about basketball. So.
Yeah, I know.
Excuse me, MVP.
Oh, yeah.
What's the weirdest fucking MVP that is?
I know, man. And then they got swept.
Dude,
God.
who the fuck are the Suns?
Bro, the Suns are something
That-
else, man.
Last night?
Bro! Oh,
The-
my God.
the 80,
We saw
80
that.
and oop?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, I don't know his name. Aiden.
It's DeAndre Ayton, but
There you go.
people were doing like puns on like Aiden alley-oop.
Oh, Aiden and Oop. Okay, I get you. That's pretty cool.
That was fucking. I
Yo,
just got on
holy
Reddit
shit.
before I went to work and was like, what happened? Why is this the top thing on Reddit?
Yeah, no. Fucking amazing play. Jesus. Yeah, we saw that live when my brother was trying to keep himself together. Because, I mean, I still like Kawhi, even though he left the Spurs and everything, but I like him. I also don't follow basketball like that. But, nonetheless, I'm pulling for him to win a championship in LA. But, yeah, holy shit, that play was, God, amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
like, I care more and more about basketball like the closer it gets to the finals.
Yeah,
like
course.
until like probably the second round of the playoffs. Like I just like randomly see highlights every now and then,
Yeah.
rather than like actively I'm like googling information or like trying to like watch little bits.
Yeah, this
But-
is around the time that I'm actually like really.
It's like the conference finals and like it's a bunch of weird ass teams and the fucking Bucks are there.
for real.
Like the fucking Clippers are there, like just ready to choke again.
Well, so I saw that the 4 teams that are in the championships right now haven't won an NBA championship since the NBA ABA merger.
Yeah, these are like four of the most consistently bad franchises.
Yeah, for real.
Because they just had the draft last night, and I was listening to.
Bill
Simmons,
the lottery.
And I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast on it, and then they were like stopped in the middle of it. They're like, "Can we just take a minute and like really appreciate like those who aren't with us tonight?" And like listed these four teams, like the Suns, the Clippers, the Hawks, and the Bucks, and it's like they're usually like right at the top every year. They're not here. Good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
man.
like who the like it's fucking weird. Like why are the Suns like the best team in the playoffs still?
Seriously.
Trae Young is like people are comparing him to Reggie Miller now that he's a villain.
Oh, nice.
And it's like
hey, yeah.
it works.
It works.
We shut up Madison Square Garden. That was like that made me so
Yo, well, at the same time, we also have to acknowledge that the fucking Knicks were in the playoffs. Since when? Like, fuck, man. Even when they had Melo and fucking Amari Stoudemire, they weren't even in the playoffs as consistently. Like, Jesus.
And they were, like, legit for a good chunk of the year.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't just like, oh, we're like, in the East and we'll get in being, like, 30 and 49.
Yeah. If the Suns can make it to the championship and
they will
win it,
I think it's going to be Suns Bucks. I don't think that the Hawks...
I would love to see the Hawks Suns.
Like, I think it would be fun, but I just don't think that they're ready at that point. Like, they've been soaring past, like, everything, but eventually, like, they're going to run into Giannis.
Yeah, for real.
And he's eventually going to have to be, like, either you're next up or you're going to be the guy that loses to Trae Young.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out what you actually are.
Seriously.
So I think it's going to be Bucks, and I think it's going to be Suns. Because, I mean, the Suns are up 2-0. Kawhi's still out for who knows how much longer. They're going to get Chris Paul back.
Yeah.
And, I mean, who can trust Paul George?
God damn.
He could have put it away.
Yeah,
he
he could have.
One
literally.
of the free throws.
Yeah, they
But
would
he
have at
missed
least gone to
two.
overtime. Yeah.
He missed two.
Fuck, man.
And that's playoff Paul right there.
God. Playoff P, right? Or, I don't know what the fuck.
It's something to try to distract from the fact that he's one of the worst playoff players ever.
Seriously, man. God.
I just think of him bitching about after Damian Lillard hit that dagger on him to send the Thunder home.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, when he was that was a bad shot. Like he was dumb for taking it. And it's like this is loser talk, dude.
For real,
like you cannot pull things out, and you just got fucking assassinated.
Seriously.
And if one of the most badass shots ever, the meme of him like looking down the barrel of the camera. And you're just there being a whiny baby. Like that's all I think about Paul George now.
I never thought anything about him after he left the Pacers. Which also seems like a fucking eternity ago.
Yeah, because he like had his shins shoot out of his leg, and then like had a whole resurgence of like, no, he's like a legit wing and like top 15 in the NBA, and it's like,
yeah, I don't know about that.
According to y'all,
yeah, seriously,
there's not been that on paper.
No. Fuck, man.
These are the same people who tout Westbrook as like one of the greatest of all time, so I don't care what they have to say.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. When someone like
it's
Westbrook
been a year and a half, and I still haven't changed my opinion on Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, I have not changed my opinion on him since he was with the Thunder and Harden and what's his name, KD left. It just here's the thing: he might not be a toxic person to the locker room, but he's definitely not like the guy that anybody can build around. Fucking Washington didn't even make it to the playoffs.
I was gonna say, if he was, why couldn't we carry the Washington Wizards in the East into like an 8 seed?
Not just in the East, but also with another All-Star on their team.
Yeah.
Like why? Like how can you not do that? You did it with the Thunder, which is probably just as impressive. But God, it just I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah, I love the memes about how Booker has made it to the Western Conference Championship and Jordan never did, so that means Booker's the GOAT. Also, Stephen A. Smith calling him the next Kobe. God damn, that's a stretch.
Who cares what Stephen A. Smith has to say?
Seriously,
people can like him if they want, but anybody that's in that first take format, I don't give a shit about you. Like you're just there to scream and be an
Yes.
instigator.
Yeah.
Like you, that dweeby white guy that has no discernible personality. Like
I
he
forget
just
his name.
and yeah,
Max
Skip
Kellerman.
and
Max
Shannon.
Kellerman.
Like I don't care. You're just there to like stir up the pot, and
But
then
Shannon's
whatever.
the shit. I love Shannon.
Like Slate woman who's supposed to be the moderator that they just yell at, and then they
oh
don't
yeah,
let them
Kate Slater or
engage at
something
all.
like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for her because they always run over her, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck, man? Let her not only talk but have like a fucking voice.
I mean,
Anyways.
then it would be like an actually engaging show, and it would be the format of just like Skip Bayless like jerking off every mainstream team there is,
Yeah.
and then Shannon getting Julio in trouble by calling him and not telling him he was on TV.
That was awesome. You want to go with the Cowboys? Don't go with the Cowboys. Nah, they always been trash.
Respect for Julio.
Yeah.
It went up a little more. I thought he was at the ceiling.
Oh my
But
god.
he
Yeah.
found a way.
Class act. Class act. Oh man. What a year.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyways. Jesus. Yeah, man. What has been your peak of just like chaos? I guess this last year.
I know it's an audio medium, but I'm pointing at my puppy, who got him in. It was almost just a couple days ago. It was a year ago that I got him, and
Wow,
yeah,
mid-pandemic.
it's been that fucking
Holy
long, dude.
shit, mid-pandemic.
Yeah, and it's been chaos, like pretty much from the get-go. Within like the first week, I had to take him to the ER because I thought he was gonna die.
God damn, I didn't get that story.
Well, it's like he was just like 2 or 3 month old puppy. I've been taking care of him, but then like I really needed to sleep for work, and so like I asked if he could go like just spend the night at my parents, and he would like be with his siblings, and like just a night over there where I can take a break and like actually get one night of sleep, and then I'll get him back, and then it'll be fine. And then apparently he had like a horrible night where he literally did not stop screaming the entire night over there, and on top of that, we were still figuring out food for them.
Oh yeah.
And so, like, baby puppy, delicate balance going on inside of them. Like, anything can send them into a different direction if you're not careful with them. So he had a whole night where he was spent the entire night screaming, and he had different food in his system than normal. Because like when you're giving your dog a new food, you have to transition them, and it's like you add like 10%
like
of
a
the
baby
food
human.
for like a day,
Yeah.
and then a couple of days later you go to 20% of that new food
Yeah.
mixed in with the old, and then a few days later you do third. Like you do it in stages. He just like immediately got switched to that other food.
Oh shit.
So stressed out 2-month-old with a whole new thing of food in his system. When I went back to the house to get him in the afternoon, he seemed okay, but then like he threw up a little bit, and then like he seemed like weird and weak, and then like I saw him like have like bloody diarrhea like all over the floor, just like him like, and then just, and then like just sort of like find a place to lay down on his side.
Jesus Christ.
And then it was like, we were freaked out. We called like this vet emergency place, and I want to find this woman and like punch her in the throat because she like upped my anxiety 5,000%, because I was like explaining what was going on. It's like, we're coming in, like, do we need to like get in line on like online? Can we just like show up and let them in or whatever?
Man, because
It's in the middle of COVID, so we don't know the rules. And so I'm like asking her what's up, and I'm telling her the symptoms, and she's like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds like parvo, so we'll see what we can do when we get here. And if you don't know what parvo is, it's essentially like death for a baby for like a puppy.
Oh, what the fuck?
It's like, if your dog has it, survival chance is like under 10% or something.
Jesus.
At best. Like, it's like, that's why you can't let your dogs outside or go to other places where other dogs are because they can pick up parvo from other dogs, like excrement or urine, and it lives in that stuff for like months and months. So that's why you can't bring them to places until they have all their shots, and that takes like 4 or 5 months to get all the shots.
That's a minute.
So, like, you got to be careful about where you take your dog at that time until they're all inoculated, because otherwise they can get this thing that's like almost guaranteed to kill them. So she just like laissez-faire is like, shit, that sounds like parvo, and like essentially gives my dog a death sentence as I'm like holding him in a towel in my arms, like, and he's like not looking great. And she tells me that, and I'm just like, like freaking out. We like race down there, and we're there for like 3-4 hours, and we're just like sitting in a car because we can't go into like a waiting room or anything. And then like they finally get him into the doctor, and they're like, we don't know what's going on necessarily. Like, we need to like do X-rays. Like, this whole thing ends up costing like $800 trying to figure out what's going on. And apparently it's just like, essentially what they said was like, he just got his system rocked and was having a terrible reaction to like new food and stuff. And so then they like just gave him like 4 or 5 days worth of pills, and we're just like, keep an eye on him and keep him hydrated. Like, go get Gatorade, and we'll give you a syringe to like put droplets in his mouth and stuff.
Jesus Christ.
And he's like obviously fine and doing great, and every vet check he gets like clean bills every time. But that bitch of just like not knowing what's going on, just be saying like, hey, this is what's happened, bloody diarrhea, like I'm real worried what's going on. Just was like, she's gonna fucking die, dude. Like, that's what she told me. And then it was like, and then apparently it wasn't that. Like, I hate this woman so much.
Jesus.
She scared the fuck out of me. And this is like the first week I had this kid.
Yeah.
And so then after that, like, anytime he gets like any sort of sicky, I'm like, PTSD flashbacks to that. And oh god.
Jesus.
So that's one of the more stressful things, because I really didn't have too many COVID scares.
Yeah.
Like, nobody in my immediate family got it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in my immediate friend group got it. Like, people I know had like a sibling get it, or one of their good friends get it, or just other people in their family. We had like a person show up to work knowing her husband had it, and still came in anyway for like 2 days.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So very unhappy about that. But it never spread in the bakery at all or anything. So, like, other than just like general anxiety of everything that was happening in the world, like, I never like had a, is COVID within like striking distance?
God damn.
So that's where I was at. How about you?
Multiple. Well,
yeah, I know yours was a bit more
Jesus
dramatic.
Yeah, so we had that first week of, because it was like mid to late February. No, actually it was like mid-March. Yeah, it was like mid-March, because I remember my birthday was just coming up. And we went on the fucking lockdown. That was just like all anxiety. Like, what the fuck's going on? At that time, I was still working at the Hookah Lounge and at the liquor store together. And so, we went, myself and one of my coworkers, a buddy of mine, we were doing, pulling the almost 21-hour work days, 8 hours at fucking the liquor store, and then damn near the whole night at the Hookah Lounge. And it just like stopped. It was like all just stopped immediately, and it was like, fuck. So that first week of lockdown was like, okay, deep cleaning the Hookah Lounge, locking things up. And then for whoever, the one follower that listens to us, if you're not familiar with like West Campus of Austin, they're like the Guadalupe, the strip in West Campus is just like riddled with like homeless people. And so that first week, in the middle of like deep cleaning, we'd have like just all the freaks come out and like people coming out, like peeking into the windows already and like, rustling around in the back. And it's like, golly, man, we haven't even been in this motherfucker for a week. And, at the time, of course, they were like 3-week lockdown. And it's like, okay, this is only a third way through the fucking lockdown.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be such a real long month.
For real. And then, now we are where we're at. But, yeah, I think that was just the beginning of it. And then after that, I mean, the liquor store, we cut hours. We were closing at 6. And it was just like overtime all week, every day, for almost like 2-3 months. And then I think July was when we finally kind of went back to like regular hours. But in between that, we had, like a COVID scare at the liquor store where everybody who worked with the colleague, we had to all quarantine, which was like the whole, staff. And then we had that, but then at the same time, simultaneously, we had someone at the hookah lounge who also got it. And so we had to like fucking quarantine from there. So it was just a double whammy. It was like, holy fuck.
It's just a reoccurring thing in your life. Like, it's not just one thing happening.
Oh, it's never
it's
just one thing.
In every facet of your life, something equivalent is happening.
Oh, yeah.
So you have 4 crises to deal with at once.
Exactly.
Like, you could be good for a little bit, and everything hits.
Yeah.
And it's like...
For real.
Oh, my God.
Man, I know. And it's not even, like, self-inflicted. It's just shit.
No, you're just around it.
I know, man. So we had to do that, and then... I remember we had to do like a fucking caravan carpool with all of us from the liquor store and from the hookah lounge, and like friends who we had been close to at the time, like all just carpooled in caravan to the fucking closest and earliest COVID check. And we had to go, and there was like 5 vehicles just packed like fucking Mexicanos from the border, just like...
Which is what you want in a COVID situation, is
exactly.
everybody in the car.
Exactly.
One of us might be infected. Yeah. All right, 8 people sit laps.
I know. We were in my truck, and we had like... It's a 4 or 5 seater truck, and we had like 6 people in there, and we were just like, God, just packed in. My friend in the store, or the owner of the hookah lounge, he's in the front with me, and we're just like talking shit and like... This is so stupid.
It's really dumb.
But we had to. I mean, we all figured, at this... I mean, of course, it was early COVID. Who fucking knew anything? But we were all like, literally, if one of us had it, we all fucking had it. Like, that's how close we are all the fucking time, masks or not. But yeah, that was insane. God, that fucking... I don't know if you've done it, but that COVID test is a bitch.
Thankfully, I didn't do any of the early tests where it was like you have to poke your brain.
Oh yeah,
I took later tests where it wasn't like that at all.
Dude, fuck that. I had to do that. I actually had to do that again recently, not because of a COVID scare, but because we had an upper respiratory like virus that was going around in the family, and they were like, "Well, Mr. Guajardo, you're not feeling too good, and we know that your baby or your 6-month-old or 9-month-old is not feeling too good. So either we do the COVID test on him or we do it on you." And I was like, fuck it, I'll take one for the team.
He's not going to remember it.
No, but I was just like, I'll take one for the team. So I took like the flu, the strep, and the COVID test all back to back, and it was like, God.
That sucks.
Yeah, but...
That's weird that you're still doing the, like, really painful one. Because what I had to do...
It was the family doctor, and evidently that's, like, the most accurate, especially for the 15-minute, because... So I don't know, but yeah, they're just like, all right, ready? And then just fucking, like...
Yeah, because I did rapid tests at CVS.
Okay.
Like,
oh, yeah, I remember.
That's where I was going, and I've done it, like, 4 or 5 times, because it was, like, free to go do it.
Yeah.
So, like, I would just go there, and then they just, like, would hand you the Q-tip, and it's like, do it yourself, and it's just, like, you just rub it on the inside part of your nostril.
Yeah.
You just, like, roll it around in there, like, it made me sneezy. Because I'm just tickling my nose. But, like, that was it. I'm really glad I never had to get those, like, 2-foot long ones that they, like, jam up into your face.
I know.
Just like seeing the diagrams of it was.
Oh yeah, it was just like, you don't want this? Put your fucking mask on.
I mean, yeah, that's a good marketing for your mask.
Real. Exactly. Jesus. So yeah, it was that, and then like June or July, we found out that Stephanie was pregnant, like 6 weeks pregnant, which was like, that was absolutely insane. That was like right after all that shit happened too.
Yeah.
So it was like, what? I mean, I kind of
Oh, what?
Yeah, I kind of knew, but Jesus, yeah, and it was funny because she kept on saying, "No, I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I'm not." I was like, "Nah, you're pregnant."
It's usually not that dynamic of the husband being like, "No, you're pregnant."
Oh yeah, no. And then we one day we just ordered like food from where was it? Not Applebee's, because who goes to Applebee's? I forgot where we ordered food from. Yeah, Chili's. And then we ordered them
slightly better Applebee's.
And then we ordered the margaritas to go, which is a fucking amazing thing, by the way. But
I think that's staying from COVID.
Yeah, they actually passed a law, so that's staying. But we
that's what Texas is doing.
Oh yeah, I know, yeah, right. And fuck children and like rules and everything. Just
our energy grid.
Yeah, exactly.
Women's rights. Elections. We gotta get those margs, baby.
Yeah, bro.
Happy hour all day.
Oh yeah. No, we got to go margaritas, and I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Before you take this, or drink this, you're going to fucking take this test. And so she took the test, and she was just like, I can't have my margarita. I was like, I fucking told you. Yeah, and then lo and behold, she was 6 months in, so.
6 months?
Yeah, she was like 5 or 6 months in. Yeah, she was already about to finish her second trimester. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And Stephanie's like 50 pounds
and
like 4 feet tall. How do you not notice a baby?
Yeah, exactly. No, and it was funny because she was like, for a while there, she was like, babe, do you think I'm getting fat? And in my head, I was just like, no, you're just pregnant. But I was like, no. And then, of course, she was just like, never like clicked in her head. She was just like, I think I'm getting fat. And I'm like, no, you're just pregnant. She's like, no, I'm not, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And then fucking finally it took a fucking to-go margarita for her to just be like, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. Let me take this pregnancy test. And yeah, fucking 5 months I was right the whole time. But yeah, fuck, man. And he was born on 16 de septiembre. So, yeah, so we're going to have a big independence and first year birthday for him.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So that was I think, peak chaos, and then just kind of some kind of calmness, some bright light to everything.
Yeah, I think you win. Most chaotic COVID.
Well, I don't know, man. We've heard.
This not to brag.
No,
this has been a good pandemic for me.
Jesus,
I got a better job. I got a girlfriend that I love. Moved into a new apartment. Got a puppy.
Hey, man.
And it's coming up Millhouse. It's good, baby.
Hey, man.
So,
yeah.
It's good. This whole year has just been so many moments of me, this past year now has just been so many moments of me being like, I never realized how fucking lucky I am.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so fucking lucky, with all those things I was just saying, my girlfriend, my dog, my new job, amazing blessings for me. How lucky I was during Icepocalypse.
Jesus.
Dodged that. We should have probably said that was the most chaotic.
That was probably
COVID.
Yeah. That was probably.
But how well we survived through that, because we weren't ever in the apartment when it lost power or water or anything. We were able to go to my girlfriend's family, and they never lost water or power while we were there. We did better than almost everybody, and I feel so bad for it, but at the same time, I'm just so grateful that we were okay, because Sarah, my girlfriend, her best friend was without power and water for over a week. Jesus. And going into the car a couple times a day to just warm up and charge their phones and stuff is the best they could do. And like eating tuna fish sandwiches for 5 days straight because they had nothing, and like you couldn't get on the road, so like we kept being like, if you can get here safely, you can be here, because we're lucky enough to be so close to a hospital. We're on a section of the grid where it's going to be like the last thing they're going to do is try to fuck with it. And then when we went to my girlfriend's place, her parents, they're even closer to a hospital. So like it was just, we were so lucky, and I feel so terrible for the horrors that people went through.
Jesus, yeah, man.
I just long story short, like I'm so grateful for all of the good and lucky moments of this pandemic for me, because it could have been like the fact that I'm at the place I am right now is a miracle.
Yeah.
I fully appreciate that.
No, I think so, man. I mean, this whole, I think, it was just an interesting time. I mean, obviously, we're living in something that literally happens like once 100 years, and like, what's the fucking, coincidence that it pops up here? But I think
in the middle of 100 years plague, we get 1,000-year ice storm or something.
Exactly, bro.
Like,
oh my god.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
No, man. I mean, I think we are like some of the literally just like luckiest motherfuckers out there to like be able to come out on the other side with most of our, loved ones healthy, and if had contracted, being able to come out to the other side of it. I mean, when we got our vaccine, word is, and it's just like, I mean, you can take it as hearsay, but our family doctor said at least that those who had COVID previously wouldn't react to that second shot, and none of us reacted to that second shot. So, I mean, and then of course we look back and it was just like early February or early to mid-February, we all got really fucking sick with something that wasn't strep throat or the flu or like fucking common cold. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, who knows? Like, whatever. But at
looking
the same
back
time,
on it, yes.
it's just like, Jesus. But, we're on the other side of it. We're vaccinated, and being able to like, I think all of us are either moving up in like, or at least of the two of us, we're moving up in work, a little bit more stable with shit coming out of things. We have more additions to the family in good ways. And I mean, we still have somewhat of our sanity, but yeah, I would say so. Being lucky, picking up as much of the good things as we can in the last year, because Jesus, that fucking, and then of course you tag on the fucking 1,000-year freeze. It was just
2 weeks of hell,
bro. That was intense. It was like, it wasn't, I mean, thankfully necessarily scary, because we still had like, we knew we had a barbecue pit that we could fire up. We had wood that we could fire up if we needed to. But we had to be the housing, for family members who are either immunocompromised or, elderly, who of course at the time, none of us are vaccinated yet. So we're like housing them, blocking them off, and quarantining them to a fucking part of the house. And, but yeah, I mean, you talk about like chaos. I mean, my grandparents would have definitely not survived if we would have left them in their house. 20 degrees in the middle of the fucking day in their house. And it's like,
because of course they were in a part of town that the city would not value.
Yeah, because
they'll take that. They'll take that power out of there. No problem.
Yeah,
because we live in a state that is a disaster.
God. However much I love Texas, the fucking politics is just insane.
I mean, when we've got leaders like Greg Abbott and Cancun Cruz, like, how are we supposed to expect anything good?
Yeah. God. And then, of course, now they want to do rolling blackouts for the heat? What? Are you fucking kidding me?
Have your thermometer set to 82. Don't do laundry.
Yeah, what? Excuse me? Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, like...
82 turns into 90 degrees real quick when you have fucking 3 kids running around in like 5 grown-ass human bodies.
Yeah.
It's just like,
That's called
Jesus.
living in Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
bro, fuck.
and there was a chance to do something after the ice apocalypse in the Texas legislative session.
Yeah,
They could have made changes and made improvements to our systems, and what did they do?
We can buy alcohol at 10 a.m. on Sundays.
They did that. They decided that you can legally carry a gun without any sort of permit or documentation. They did their best to limit and essentially completely outlaw abortion in this state. They've done everything in their power to destroy all voting rights. But yeah, that's what they chose to do with their time, is just to destroy our lives even further, and then because their homes are the ones that are going to be under restriction.
you know,
during when Aircon was posting that shit about where your thermostat should be and like don't use your utilities during the day, like Greg Abbott had that bitch at 65 in this mansion. Like, he was running the dishwasher with 3 plates in there. Like, he don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because they're not the ones who suffered. Ted Cruz is going to go to Alaska. Who cares? Like,
Jesus Christ.
That's the state we live in. Just
I
those selfish bastards.
I hated Abbott from the beginning. It didn't help that he let USC banned on the fucking state capitol. And then now he's just like an absolute piece of shit.
Yeah, there you go. That's the benchmark.
Yeah. Fuck California, too.
I'm sure I've told you this story, but just the only story there's one story you need to know about Greg Abbott to understand the kind of piece of shit he is. Before he was in politics, like, majorly, before his accident, like, how he got hurt and became paraplegic and into the wheelchair was he was just running, like, on a city street, and a tree owned by the city had a branch fall on him, and it injured him, and he lost the use of his legs, and he sued the city, and that's how he got his wealth, is because it was a city-owned, it was the city's property, it was their fault, and that's how he got his wealth. And so then he went into politics, and he pioneered legislation to make it so nobody else can do that. So no one else could have that happen to them and move up like he did. Greg Abbott.
Wow.
Our governor. Yeah, that's him.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's Greg Abbott. And that's also just like rich white Republican energy right there. I lucked into this, and now the idea of anybody else having this happen to them disgusts me, and I will do everything in my power to make sure I'm the only one that gets this.
Wow. What a fucking piece of shit.
And while we're at it, my favorite Ted Cruz story is when because he is not just, good old Southern boy. He's Canadian.
Yeah, I was going to say,
and also
Canadian.
went to Yale. He is a Ivy League elite.
Yeah.
And when he was there, his freshman year, he was playing poker one night in one of the dorms with other people, and he lost all of his money.
Yeah, and
instead of paying up, he ratted them out to the RA and got them all in trouble.
Yeah, I remember
Ted Cruz. Like,
pieces of shit.
He will do everything in his power to have no principle and avoid consequences at the expense of others, because he doesn't care.
Goddamn.
So, long story short, vote Democrat. That's the only thing we can do to get rid of these fuckwads.
Well, vote local.
God bless Stacey Abrams.
Oh my god, yeah, the fucking gangsta. The gangsta out of Georgia.
People in communities who are doing the hard work for literally a decade to give us an opportunity to do something.
Seriously. Fucking seriously. Respect. Fucking respect. God damn. What a fucking insane time.
Yep. We're seeing the end of democracy. We're seeing its last rattles right now. That's not even hyperbole.
No, I'm not even. I
I
wouldn't say it's.
We have a few months left for Joe Manchin to wake the fuck up and save this country, or it's done. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Either we can pass a version of the For the People Act and save voting and democracy in this country, or we just subject ourselves to minority rule and let conservatives run the country forever.
Yeah.
These fascist pieces of shit.
Oh yeah, I think so. I wouldn't disagree. I hate both sides of the political spectrum, but I would not disagree with you in that case.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can have your problems with either side, but
Oh yeah.
when you look at what the options are that are realistically available to you,
Oh yeah.
do you want the people who are making it so you like state senates and congresses can just overturn elections because they feel like it
Yeah.
with no evidence?
Oh yeah.
Like a judge can overturn
Mhm.
election results in the state. They are making it so like you literally have no time to go vote. Like it's only limited in certain hours of the day. Like they're essentially eliminating souls to the polls, which is like one of the biggest like African American outreach to go voting. Saying like you can't vote until like 1 p.m. on Sundays or whatever it is. Like
bullshit.
it's like every scumbag thing you can think of. And then there are still people who are thinking Trump's going to be re-inaugurated in August.
Yep, I saw that. I've saw and heard that. Yeah, my bad.
Cause proud to be an American.
Oh, jeez. Sips on your whiskey and coffee. What I was gonna say, I saw this kind of ties into just the fucking chaos of our beautiful nation or whatever the fuck it is.
Our banana republic.
Talking about how the reason the U.S. will never abide to free college is because of the military.
I mean, they have to scam it.
Yeah, military gives minority people the capability to go to school, but also they have to do it by joining the military.
They have to say they'll be cannon fodder.
Exactly.
But hey, maybe you can go to a state school.
Exactly.
Yeah, and just keep the poor.
Yeah. Which is insane that we have a fucking universities after our military, a fucking army, Navy, Air Force, like literally. We have fucking schools after our fucking militaries. It's just, I think that's insane. But I mean, no respect. Jesus, no disrespect to
Clip it.
No disrespect to our folks. I have plenty of friends and very very close friends and family who are veterans and current military members whom I have a lot of love and respect for doing all that shit. But not only is it not just for me, or it's just not for me, but I think the path and the route that we have to like force feed, minorities and lower economic families into to just get a chance at school and like wealth or whatever.
I'm sure that there will be a reckoning for the military complexes we have in our country soon, because I mean so many of our institutions are being looked at with a new perspective now and actually seeing what its effects are and the history of it.
Yeah.
I.e. police.
Yeah.
That's been this whole past year too, a reckoning with that. And a much greater understanding of
we didn't even get
the
that. Jesus. Hey man, that was insane.
But like that's just one example of just like people are no longer able to hide from the realities.
Yeah,
and
which is
just
I think
absorb the propaganda.
Which I think is one of the beautiful parts of social media is that like we have like the people who've been hiding behind money walls and newspapers with no pictures and media or anything or visual media they can't hide anymore, so they're all crawling out of the spaces one way or another
and just hiding behind the veil of their positions and being able to do whatever they want. Because something that was recently, because it was the anniversary recently of George Floyd's murder, people were re-sharing the initial police report of the incident that happened with George Floyd, and if there was not video of the murder, all that would have been was the police report of this dangerous African American man, obviously high on multiple illegal substances, resisted arrest, and through some accident of his own making, died of his own wounds.
Yeah.
Like, completely swept everything under the rug, never mentioned a single word about what they did, completely slandered him and what was happening, and they would have completely gotten away with it because that's what they've been doing for 150 years. Like,
500 years, man, since fucking colonialism. Yeah, that's all they've been doing.
Like, and no one would have thought anything about it because fucking dropping a bucket.
Yeah.
So, having the ability, and like, it's tragic that it's a preteen who had to testify in court after she recorded it.
Yeah.
And had to express, like, that was one of the most heartbreaking things, was her saying, like, every night she, like, asked for forgiveness for him because she couldn't do anything. And it's a fucking child who's got to carry that with her whole life.
Yeah.
Because these power-hungry pieces of shit murdered a guy in front of her.
Yeah.
And if she didn't have her phone...
Seriously. If
she would have just carried that with her and no one would have known.
Yeah, it would have been like that much closer to like dying on the battery or anything, like, you know. Yeah. It just, And then I think, you know, the symbology of like how connected everybody is, you know, if George Floyd wasn't, you know, close to like Steven Jackson, you know, the former basketball player.
So many random things happen.
And by the way, so George Floyd, when I heard about it, I was like, this fucked up and everything, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it got the same, or I got the same, you know, attention to it as I would for any other thing. But the dots didn't connect for me until Houston started reporting on it, because George Floyd back in early 2000s was Big Floyd, one of the underground Texas rappers. Yeah. Rapping with like UGK, Trey, Zero. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Like, why not? Just another layer.
I know. It was layer on top of layer. So like, not only obviously did this hit the nation because of the video, but it hits different parts of the country because of like what he meant to the communities and how he just moved to, you know, what was it, Milwaukee or whatever it was.
It shows like more of the humanity of the life that was taken.
Yeah, exactly.
It colors more of like what this person's life was.
Yeah, well,
and it makes you realize that it was a person and not just a guy.
Yeah, not just like a guy who they say is like doped up on whatever. Yeah. And apparently they shot him up because like, I don't know what it is, but like the police can shoot up somebody with like a certain kind of like, I don't know if it's an antihistamine or whatever the fuck it is, but it's like to upstart the heart or something.
Like an adrenaline.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. So like they shot him up with it, and then they were like, oh well, in the police report here, like they said, oh yeah, this is what the toxicology came back. So yeah, just another layer to the bullshit that they can fucking provide and post and, you know, layer.
And like the fear that with everything that was so clear as day to everybody that guy was still going to get away with it.
Oh,
and that they were going to let him off. Even though, speaking of the randomness, other people that were there that day, an off-duty woman who was a firefighter / EMS person who was like begging for them to do things that medically needed to happen to save his life, and they ignored her. And then also talking about the violence that they did to him. A professional Taekwondo master was there on the street, happened by, and was like, you're doing all of this wrong, you're going to kill him. So like, they had no argument medically or in terms of the techniques they were using that they could ever argue that his life was not in danger and that they were going to kill him. And there was still like, we've only seen them get away with it. So even though we have all this, it's probably gonna be a hung jury at best. And we have to start all this over.
I know.
So,
yeah.
And the fact that they needed all of that to happen to get justice for him too, like it was that it felt that close.
I was gonna say and it should have never been that close. Like
no, you just need the video. You shouldn't need expert testimony from 6 people who happened to be there on that day. Which is coincidence shouldn't inspire justice.
Exactly. Yeah, oh my god, yeah, I think that's perfect the way you say it. It shouldn't. We shouldn't have had to have those people coincidentally there to be able to like.
Because when else is that gonna happen?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many fucking other things and times, and then
they took a left. Like there's like walking their dog or something. They turned left instead of right, and then all of a sudden they're not there. Or they took lunch early that day and they're not there. Like it could have been any million things. They all happened to be there, and it all barely got us to where we needed to.
Exactly. The fact that it took almost a month for the jury to figure out. It's just like it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. But we are where we are, and we celebrate the life now, and it shouldn't be that way, but one way or another we need to, things need to change. Things need to change, and hopefully they will as we open back up and get people back out to vote and to, work the neighborhoods.
And put in the work now because,
shit like this doesn't.
You can't just show up just beforehand and expect people to want to commit their lives for the next 2 weeks all of a sudden and pretend like it's the biggest thing in the world. It's hard. We've been fighting for so long. Yeah. Especially ever since 2016. Yeah. It's been hard every single fucking day.
Yeah, 2016.
So.
Jesus.
And we're all exhausted of having to stand up and say this is not right. But the only thing we can do is keep doing it because the other side is working just as hard to make sure.
Oh yeah, nothing happens.
That nothing changes.
Yeah. Or changes for the worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get to make it out to anything for Juneteenth?
No, unfortunately I was working.
Yeah, we were able to make it out to the parade here in East Austin.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was good.
Because Juneteenth is a national holiday now.
Yeah, fucking federal holiday.
Who the fuck would have thought that was going to happen this year? That wasn't on my bingo card. But
it's a double-edged sword, right? Because, you get Juneteenth holiday, but you don't, get any, rights acts passed for black or brown people, but
it's a bit of a gold star.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it's acknowledgement. I think it's acknowledgement.
At least as of right now, it's definitely not enough. More things need to happen, without a doubt. But I'm sure there's a shit ton of people, children, and especially a lot of adults in this country who have no idea what the fuck it is.
Well, I mean,
what it's about, and more people are going to know.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember even when we were in school, elementary, we knew what Juneteenth was. I mean, but that's just because for the longest, Juneteenth was mostly a Texas and then some parts of the South kind of celebration. And recently I found out actually that certain villages in North Mexico celebrate Juneteenth for decades and almost a century. Because a lot of the slaves back then immigrated to North Mexico to, the Underground Railroad that went south because Mexico had abolished slavery. But, now it is a national holiday. Now we can hopefully, educate more. And I think as that happens, we find more doors being open and more avenues for, future generations who will be in power, especially, upper echelon and middle class white folk, to learn, to be educated, and to become that much more or that much less racist and, bigoted towards
less ignorant.
Communities. Yeah, less ignorant. Towards
because ignorance is just having a lack of information.
Yeah.
So if you have the information, then you don't have that excuse anymore.
Exactly. Yes.
If you're informed, then you make your choices with that. But then we know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Because you can't hide behind it anymore. Yeah. You can't. I don't know. No, we're all learning this right now. Yeah. We're all talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So good to see how things are hopefully picking up, but there's a long fight. The fight continues. Yeah.
You want to cut that? I got to let him up.
Okay.